Welcome to this episode of Jacks2Pavement. Today, we are installing rear speakers on the Cavalier. Okay, so here are the tools we are using today. We got solder, our soldering iron, a hammer to bend the sheet metal, wire strippers, wire cutters to splice in the new connectors, channel locks to pull down on the metal, breaker bar, and Torx bit in order to break the seatbelt bolts loose. This is my soldering iron holder. Electric drill and drill bit to tap holes for the new screws, and of course, screwdriver. Alright, here are the speakers we're installing. They're Lightning Audio 6x9 speakers. They are a 4-way speaker with 4 ohm impedance. And what I mean by a 4-way speaker, there is the mid-range woofer, the 6x9 part. There's a 1-inch tweeter here and 2 half-inch tweeters on each side of that. This helps to cover more of the hearing range of humans in one location rather than having to have separate speakers in different places. Alright guys, so the first thing we've done is push both of our front seats all the way forward to give us more room since this is a 2-door. Now the first step, we have to remove these little pretty covers for the hooks in the back for child seats. They just pop out with a little bit of leverage. Pull the back seat down. And then these push pins here and here have to come out. And sometimes it helps to use the panel for leverage in order to get things out. Now, you gotta pull this out of the way some and then fish the seatbelt through. So this rear deck panel can come out on both sides. So what we had to do in order to get this rear tray out, we have to move these side panels out of the way. Now this pops out, you pull this pin out and then yank the whole hook off. Here we have a very large Torx bit. Breaks loose and unscrews to remove the seatbelt mount. And the rest of it is push pins. But we don't need it all the way out. We just need enough for clearance. Alright guys, I pulled one of the speakers out and I'm officially pissed off at Chevy. Here's why. The retaining mechanism for the rear speakers on my car is a plastic clip. Now most speakers have 4 screws which bolt directly into the rear dash. This one happens to be 3 plastic clips which retain it. And then of course you have your connector to disattach. I'm livid. Alright guys, so what this means to me is this retaining mechanism is junk because I thought the screws had vibrated loose because I could push the speakers in and out. It's just the fact that this isn't a good retaining mechanism. So rather than unbolt the speakers from this retainer and put the new speakers in a bad retainer, we are going to have to tap holes into the rear deck of my car. This just got interesting. Alright guys, so you saw the retainer. I'm pissed. But here's our next problem. The new speakers don't fit because they're supposed to be propped up by that retainer. So that means I've got to modify the rear deck. So we are going to do some cutting and some trimming and some hammering until we get this right. And then I'm going to recap as to what I did because it's going to be hard to get a shot of all of this. Bum, bum, bum. Alright guys, so in order to recap the modifications necessary to fit the 6x9s into the rear deck, all I actually had to do was pull the panel down and then hammer it to a 90-degree angle. What I'm doing now, soldering my wires for a good connection. So just a little safety note. Soldering has been known to cause cancer in the state of California. Now, since we're in the state of Maryland, I think we're all right. I just wanted to let you guys know in case you're watching in California. Because as with any electrical connection, you want it to be strong. And this will especially come into play with audio, as you will hear any poor connection. And though it might be a pain as you're driving, if one of your sensors are not reading correctly, it's even more annoying if your speaker keeps on popping or cracking or rattling, all because you decided to twist and tape your connections. Alright, so this is the reason why we decided to replace these speakers. The paper cone in an OEM speaker is, though lightweight and transfers sound well, it tends to be quite flexible and can distort, especially at higher voltages. The surround doesn't allow for much flex, which means we can't get as much low end out of a OEM speaker. Plus, the voice coils are not designed to handle as much power as a aftermarket radio puts out. All in all, a aftermarket speaker install will clear up the sound inside of your car as one of the best bang for buck installs you can do. Thank you for watching this episode. Poor design.
Travis, come help us clean up. Oh wait, he's not here.
No, he's too busy being sensitive and trading in his Harley.